Welcome to Ghosts Want You Dead presents Ghosts Want to Talk About AMC's The Vampire Lestat, formerly Interview with the Vampire. Not that we're super careful about spoilers, with our raison d'etre being a 60-year-old television program. We aren't, and we hope you aren't, too precious about spoilers for a 41-year-old novel. But, in case it needs to be said, we did neglect to mention at the top of last week's episode that this whole feed is lousy with spoilers. That's kind of what we do, so proceed at your own risk. Now that that's out of the way, shall we talk about episode 2, Toledo?
Well, Lestat resumes his voiceover, referring to last week's revelation of surprise incest as Ed Epiphany, which is stupid, but also kind of funny. We then flash back to 1772 to Lestat's hometown of Auvergne with a backstory and voiceover about his dead siblings and his house. Child Lestat has a stammer and is shy as a result. We meet Mommy in period costume and Mean Daddy and older brothers. We witness casual family mealtime violence as Lestat's father urges his older brothers to beat the sissy out of him.
He wants to be an actor, but Daddy wants him to be a hunter. After child Lestat and awkward teen Lestat, we finally get Sam Reed as young adult Lestat, which the village is beset by wolves, and the townspeople have come for help. Mommy makes Lestat hunt the wolves. She doesn't expect him to succeed, but of course he does. He kills 8 wolves, but then he pouts about it afterwards, refusing treatment for his wounds until Mommy comes upstairs to try and get him to come down to gloat in order to embarrass his father and brothers. She treats his wounds while telling her young son all about her gangbang fantasies. She begins to cough and tells Lestat that she's dying and makes a hasty, dramatic exit.
Lestat awakens with a start on his tour bus, crying out for Mommy. Black and white flashback to a fight on the bus about after Lestat was witnessed outing himself and doing murder and flying and whatnot. The band and entourage have a bunch of questions about what is and isn't true from Daniel's book and all sorts of vampire lore. Opening credits with the terrible song, which I forgot to mention last time, reminds me of a little bit Alexis from Schitt's Creek.
I'm not sure if that was the songwriter's intention,
It's
but
funny though.
other people have observed that online as well.
Yeah, it's pretty funny when you think of it where
Yeah.
Sam's just like, "I'm a Lamborghini. I'm a vampire star." Yeah, it's very silly. It tickles me a lot.
Daniel emerges after showing us his ass in the bus's open shower, and he meets Mommy and confirms to the assembled humans that he and this lady are also vampires. Lestat explains that they are being naughty by openly telling the world vampire things, and so therefore they are in danger, and the band is upset. Lestat does mind reading to upset the guy who wants to quit, Alex, who sort of looks like James Duval, I thought,
Hmm.
revealing all the reasons why the rest of the band is okay with the vampire stuff and he's the only one wanting to quit. He telepathically threatens Alex as he walks away from the bus.
Lestat has a little date with Mommy, and they resolve that maybe they shouldn't fuck anymore because it is gross and weird. And they make a pact to stop committing incest before inventing a story of who she is and how they met. They rename her Sophia and come up with a meet cute. They fly around Toledo hunting. They follow 3 business dudes to a strip club. In a voiceover, Lestat tells us that he and Mommy are being watched by the Talamasca.
He takes a phone call from the lawyer Christine, who innocently calls him motherfucker, to which he replies, "Not anymore, we have a pact now," which was hilarious
Yeah.
and gross. She needs him to hang out with some dude. I was unclear, like an interview or a paid sexual encounter. She calls it an exclusive fan experience. Lestat and Mommy follow the last business dude to a motel where he loudly fucks a stripper. While waiting, Mommy drinks his blood in an overtly sexual manner. The lawyer is dealing with the damage done to the hotel in the last week's episode where the vampire fight happened. Surprise! Louis is also there. Turns out he's the owner of said hotel under an alias. He and Lestat argue over the book, and Lestat is jealous of Louis's relationship with Armand.
Daniel directs the filming of the concert footage and talks to Louis via telepathy. They arrange to meet after the show. Lestat stops time like he do and flies up to Louis in the balcony, serenading him briefly before returning to stage and finishing another unremarkable song. Afterwards, Daniel and Louis have drinks and catch up while, in a voiceover, Lestat explains this is all just his made up version of what happened. They argue about the book. Louis tells a story about seeing a girl who looks like Claudia and following her. Raglan James and Rashid crash the little party, and Louis is mad about it.
In a restaurant, Lestat plays the piano to a room of corpses and his mommy. She asks what Louis knows about her, and he answers that he only told Louis that she was dead. She antagonizes him over his failed relationship, and he begins to sing en français, which she takes offense to, being Italian herself. More about that later. This is the first music on the series that I have enjoyed, though there is obvious pitch correction. In flashback, we see Lestat come to her deathbed and turn her into a vampire before they kill the rest of their family together. Back in, I want to say present time, but it's not present time because this is his retelling of a thing that happened, so
Yeah.
it's murky. But back in the restaurant, that is, they're sharing a cigarette, and in voiceover, Lestat tries to rationalize the incest. Old Raglan wants Louis to help in Detroit by, I guess, killing the rest of the vampire coven there, who are doing some kind of fentanyl crimes that I didn't really understand. And Louis isn't particularly interested until it is revealed that this little gang is led by Bruce, who assaulted Claudia when she went off to college. For further watching, see Interview with the Vampire, Season 1, Episode 5, and Season 2, Episode 3. The end. Your thoughts?
Well, I don't like the incest stuff at all. It's
Really? I'm
funny.
surprised. I thought you'd be into it.
It's something. I can't remember. We were just talking about this because neither of us had read the book in a really long time, and now Matthew is going to be. I can't remember if it is as dominant in the story in the books or not. I know it was in there, but I can't remember. And I know you had said. Anyway, I was not a fan of this episode, and so far I'm feeling kind of let down, but I'm hopeful for the rest of the series. Maybe it'll be more interesting. That was kind of a meh episode. I didn't like it. Did you?
I did. Some things to point out. That Italian accent is distracting as
It
hell.
is.
She is really laying it on thick. Very, it's a me or mama. Let's make it a love. It's very silly.
It is very silly.
Regarding the flashback sequences, first gripe. I understand why television programs do this, but I still find it annoying to find ourselves in, say, 18th century France, but everyone is speaking English for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, I flashbacks were so brief, I think American audiences could have tolerated subtitles for that little bit of time.
Well, Americans don't like subtitles. Not all of them, anyway.
I could not tell in the scene where mommy is treating his wolf wounds and telling her or telling him her gangbang fantasies if she is also jerking him off or if she was just doing wound cleaning.
It is difficult to tell. I also wasn't sure, but whatever it was she was doing was very sensual and inappropriate and gross, even if it was just tending to the wounds. But it did look like maybe she was rubbing up on him. But
Yeah, and the way he was gasping at her,
yeah,
I kind of assumed she was jerking him off.
yeah,
As you alluded to earlier, it became clear to me yesterday morning while writing the episode summary that we really ought to have reread the book so we can thoughtfully comment on differences between the novel and the TV adaptation. So, since then, I have mostly done so. I'm on the last section of the book now. So,
well, how horny is he for mommy
I can
in the
address
book?
some of these things. I don't know if you remember this element of it, but speaking of the books generally, I do appreciate, and this extends to the first 2 seasons of the show as well, how the show is doing away with the antiquated publishing taboos that sort of prevented Anne Rice from letting her gay vampires fuck in the 1970s. I don't know if you recall, but the Anne Rice vampires don't bone. For them, the act of drinking or giving blood substitutes for the sex act.
Sure.
And this is how she can have so many gay couples in her book series that was published beginning in the 70s and still be a bestseller without it being gay porn. And I appreciate that the show is not bothering with that, and these vampires get to fuck because sexless vampires are boring.
Sure.
However,
Although I can appreciate that she did that at the time as a way, and like vampirism has been used to be coded queer in a lot of different media. So I understand why she felt she needed to do that at that time.
however, in the book, The Vampire Lestat specifically, with all the mommy stuff, they do not bone in the book.
So they could have chosen to not have him bone and just have a weird
Well,
relationship.
in the book, after she becomes a vampire, they are referred to as lovers more than once, and they do kiss, but there is no sex for the vampires, just the exchanging of blood. So never in the book do they have sex or say they have had sex or are going to. So the line is still blurry in the book. Like
Sure.
their relationship is inappropriate, but
And incestuous in nature, if not physically incestuous. Sure.
yes, but there is no mommy fucking in the book. There
Well,
definitely is on the TV show. But I'm kind of for it just because it's so over the top and kooky that like, I'm into it
I mean, it's
because they're really uh making a point to call it out and be like, look, we did mommy fucking.
yeah.
I just think it's funny.
I did like his little like it's just different for vampires justification, which I'm like, really? I guess.
Well, and
But
that holds up if
yeah,
we're going on book logic where vampire dicks don't work, and so
sure.
blood drinking is the sex. So other sticking points with the novel, some other skepticism I've seen online and kind of share is all of the "look, I'm a rock star" stuff is not as present in the book. It is mentioned at the beginning and then again at the very end.
Yeah,
But the bulk of the novel is all flashback. So very little time is spent on any of that.
yeah,
The scene in which we see like kindergarten aged Lestat, teen Lestat,
sure.
20-year-old, I know from the novel, the scene in which Lestat ages up into Sam Reed in the show, in the book, he's supposed to be 20 there. And Sam Reed is hot,
He's hot, but he's
but
not
he
20.
in no way passes for 20. He is, in fact, pushing 40, I believe. Yeah, he is 39.
Yeah.
So, of course, in the 1700s, life was hard, and so maybe a 20-year-old would look 40.
That just makes me life was hard. Life was hard for a 15-year-old from, What We Do in the Shadows, the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is funny.
yeah.
But I did not like how little time was spent on some things from the book. Like, they didn't really make it clear. It all happened pretty quickly that in that flashback scene, the circumstance is his dad is a marquis and they are aristocrats, but their money is gone. So they have their big fancy house, but no money to speak of.
Sure.
And his mother, it's a me mama, comes from wealth in Italy. And when the priest is there, they are wanting to enroll him in the monastery school so he can get an education, and his father doesn't want to do that. And when the mother gives up the ring, it's like after daddy already said no, she's like, no, let's get him educated. He does go off to school for a time
Yeah,
in the novel. And in the novel, he loves it and wants to stay there.
and we
But
don't
his
see any of that, yeah.
but his family or his father and brothers make him return, saying that they only wanted him to learn to read, not become a priest like the school would do for him, and we don't get any of that.
Well, I would hope that maybe they insert it elsewhere.
I'm wondering if that's going to be the case. That was, in fact, I do wonder if they're not going to do the flashbacks in a linear order and he just might recall different things at different times. We didn't really get the backstory adequately of his family in that brief scene, I didn't think. Did you get any of what I just explained from that scene? It looked
A
to
little bit, but it was pretty chaotic. But I did get the general gist that he wanted to go off and or that she and he wanted him to go to monastery school, and that the father and the brothers thought that would make him even softer and he needs to be a man and come be a man out in the drinking and whoring and killing wolves, even though they won't go kill the wolves. Like, and so I think the general gist of it, but it needed more fleshing out, and it didn't really represent him wanting to stay other than just wanting to be away from the family or wanting it blended in with the wanting to go act, because then they were mad because he wanted to go act.
and I do wonder if they're going to return to that
Yeah,
because in the book, that's a whole thing, and he runs away with a troupe of actors and then is dragged back home
yeah,
against his will before then his spirit is finally broken and he resigns himself to be a not inheriting son of this poor aristocrat and just have to live in the country and do the hunting. And he does take up hunting after that. So when he is called upon to go kill the wolves, it's not out of nowhere like it appeared on the show.
Right.
Like he is the one who would get asked to do that because he is the one who does the hunting.
I will say that because it already seems to have a sort of chaotic nature and that they're going very much with, I don't know, like Louis's storytelling was very succinct and very organized, and he is succinct and organized as a person. That made sense. And then Lestat is having drugs and nervous breakdowns. His might be more chaotic. And I would hope that that's the case because if we don't get more backstory than that, that is shitty.
Well, I think
Mm.
we will get some of what happens next, but I do think like that might be all the time we're going to spend on
Yeah.
his growing up, and that we'll leave out the bit where he ran away with the actors and his being real into hunting because they didn't establish him as an avid hunter who was good at it and seemed to enjoy it. They didn't really touch enough on like, it was there in the show, but I don't think adequately that after the wolf killing thing, he was very upset because his dogs and his horse, who were
Yeah.
the people that he was closest
Yeah.
to, died,
And I mean, it did show that, but I think it would have meant more if we knew that those were his constant
well, that's
companions.
the thing, if you have read the book and
Yeah,
are coming into it with that.
sure.
But I don't know that the average viewer would attach much gravity to that.
Other than him just being a sweet softy.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I am concerned that that is all the upbringing stuff we're going to get simply because this season is only 7 episodes, 2 of them have happened already.
yeah,
So we have 5 episodes to get up to. I kind of have an idea of where they will probably end this first season, but because they're doing so much of the "Look, I'm in a rock band" stuff, that is also a divergence from the book in that the show where, Aaliyah come and kidnap him is the only show the band ever does.
yeah. And
And
that's
so
not the case here. Yeah,
there is not a tour in the novels. There's just the release of the record and the music videos and the books that he has written,
I do want to watch the old Queen of the Damned movie.
culminating in there's going to be this one big show,
Yeah,
and then Queen of the Damned happens. So it's kind of hard to tell where they're going to go. It seems like they might be actually taking the same route that the film did, where it just mashes up the 2 books.
yeah,
And so I am concerned that we're going to miss out on a lot of the flashback business, which makes up the bulk of the Vampire Lestat novel.
sure.
I
I,
like, I think probably in the next couple of episodes, we're gonna meet Akasha and go into Queen of the Damned.
yeah, that is disappointing. I do hope that we at least have some more Lestat and Louis. They play really well off each other, but I don't know that he's very much in that book, so they may not. Or because they know that they have good chemistry and play well together, they may just put him in anyway.
Well, I am almost to the end of the novel, and Louis hasn't appeared once.
Yeah.
And so taken as a separate thing, I am still enjoying the show. I have liked these first 2 episodes as a continuation of the first 2 seasons, and I think it is good taken as a separate thing, but it is not a particularly faithful adaptation of the novels so far. And people on the internet are kind of mad about that.
Well, I'm not particularly mad. I just didn't enjoy all of the mummy slut. Mummy, I said that wrong. The mommy smut. Mummy slut. That's what I am, a mummy slut. Um, Slutty mummy. Anyway.
I thought it was fun.
TV incest is real in right now. It's fine.
Well, it has been for a long time,
Yeah.
and let us not forget our favorite holiday movie is
Sure.
about twincest.
It is about
So
twincest. I am weirdly less bothered about twincest than like parental figure incest, but it's all just whatever.
yeah, I am enjoying it, and I just do hope we get more of the actual content of the book for which this season is named, and don't just go right into Queen of the Damned, but it seems like that's probably what's going to happen.
Well, we will see, and you will see, listeners. If you have a hankering for more TV vampires and eventual incest, might we suggest you start watching Dark Shadows on Tubi or the Internet Archive? This very podcast is recapping the show, and we would love to talk to you about it.
Follow us on Instagram at Ghosts Want You Dead. Exclusive bonus content is available on patreon.com/Ghosts Want You Dead, where this month, for the dawn of Hot Vampire Summer TM, a blast from our millennial goth kid pasts, where we will be discussing Billy Martin's Lost Souls, published as credited to Bobby Z. Bright, for Tome Troop, our pretentiously named Patreon book club.
See you next Tuesday.